All right, all right, all right, all right. Shalom, shalom, and shalom. Sister Deborah coming this morning with an awesome message. And this message is going to cover the feminine, the feminine image of Yah. The feminine image of Yah. The world can wrap the word feminine around many things that's really connected to woman, girl, female, her, she. They can take that and wrap the word feminine around all the things in the flesh that represent her, she, mother, girl, woman, the female. When you speak of feminine, this is where they turn to in all of their understanding. What the message I'm about to bring to you did something to me, because now it's like I realize that truth have come and gone. You know how he said in Hosea, my people, they perish due to lack of knowledge, as if they were lacking something, as if they came and gone lacking something. Mm, My people perish due to lack of knowledge. Then he began to say, because they reject. You see, I will reject them and their children. So, lacking the knowledge, the Father is stating that they are living. Listen, hear what I'm saying now, y'all. They are living and dying, not having and knowing and rejecting knowledge. I stand here today and salute that Father Yah. Why? Because what he revealed to me regarding feminine plays a great big role in why do we stand today in so much wicked and evil and chaos at the highest, to the point where heaven says to me, the Father says to me, that wicked and evil and darkness has reached their level toward the kingdom. That means he's not going to allow them to bring any greater darkness than they have already. That means they have to bring it back down to you. Heavens has knocked it back down to you. It has reached the heavens, and the Father has knocked it back down to your level, where you at on the earth. So if you're wondering, can it get any worse? Yes, on the earth. Okay? On the earth. They can't ask the Father to allow them to bring it any wicked, any evil, any darker than it is what he said. He's not going to allow them to take it any darker. And I'm in agreement with that so much, because I say to the Father, here it is, I'm seeing it for what it is, and People walking, talking, eating, sleeping, waking up, and living in this midnight darkness, in this thick evil, as if they feel nothing, they see nothing, they know nothing. So this message is going to speak of the feminine image of the Most High Yah that falls in female, fall in her, that falls in woman, that feminine. I learned something that was so powerful. I learned that this is why the world is the way that it is, because the importance of Genesis 1 was, I thought, was that they missed it. They didn't get it. They didn't have it right. They didn't understand it. They didn't grip it. They didn't get it. He didn't give it to them. That was my understanding. But what I learned was they removed the order that was called to the earth as it is in the heaven. They really tampered with it and stripped it as if it was given to them to do so. But the Father allowed it. So this is what you see today. Is because they took away so much in the beginning that your eyes have not seen, your ears have not heard, because you have to be in the right place in the spirit to be able to see and to hear what Sister Deborah is about to teach you. So what he was telling me is I wanted to press on with this message, but he said, no, you got to go back. You got to go back where it's at. So I found myself doing just that. And in it, I learned something that I did not know. I learned that the Father's feminine image was given to woman. It was his image was given to woman. That female, that her, that woman, that she, it was given to her. That was his feminine image. And you know how you go out throughout times and you remember how David took a man's wife and made sure that he is murdered just so he can have or steal his wife. You notice how Jacob took on taking his brother's birthright. You know how his mother set him up to steal Esau's birthright. And you notice how even you go into it, you see many individuals stealing others' purpose and others' identity. You know what I'm saying? It's like what you see today. Judah would say when they stealing our identity, they portraying that they are the Hebrew Israelites. They're portraying that they are not the Hebrew Israelites, the true Jews. What Judah didn't understand is the true Jews is not the bloodline. It's the spiritual bloodline. Okay? There are the true Jews that are the flesh bloodline. Okay? But there is the Jew that are the spiritual bloodline. And this is why they can get away with saying, even if we're not the bloodline, we've been grafted in. That's what they holding on to. And they use it. They swing that bad boy like that. We the grafted in one. We are the one that became because we are grafted in. See how they can escape? See how they can do that? But when people start to hear that, okay, if you were grafted in, what was you grafted into? Where are those that you were grafted into? See, somebody like me can shoot them down and they'll never get up. Oh, I can shoot them down where they'll never get up. Because if you're going to be grafted in, what are you grafted into? And who are those that you are grafted into? Okay? Since you grafted in, and what are you grafted in? But they don't have the Hebrew Israelite men in the right mindset to be able to question what they are saying. They mental state of mind is not there because everything they do is really based on their flesh. They capture everything in the flesh and they manifest it only through the flesh realm. And they forsaken the spirit realm that will shut them down because they're saying that we're coming through the spirit realm to be grafted into the Jews. You see, this is what they're saying. And they can't even come in that way because they still have to identify what are you grafted into. And if it's the spiritual realm of who? You see, they still can't get away with it. And it's not the Father. No, you're grafted in to something or someone or a people. You can't just be grafted in and then use the spiritual route to be grafted in, because even then you still have to be able to be detached to Jacob. So they can't even come in through the spiritual realm, but that's what they used. Oh, we were grafted in. That's what made us. That's how we got in. No, you didn't. You can't get in even that way. It's no way. Okay. So let's get back to my topic, feminine. The Father wanted me to go back to Genesis. Genesis chapter 1 and verse 26 and 27. And I'm hoping I can cut this thing short because this thing is so deep. You just can't even let it go. It's just that deep. I just can't let it go. It's so much in it. So in Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, right there, the Father wanted me to go back and he wanted me to identify the light. The light in here is so bright to where you can't even see it unless you are the spiritual seed. Listen to this. In Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, it says, and Yah said, he said, let. He's speaking now to the power and to us, the rest that goes along with the power. Okay? Listen to what he says. He said, let us. Now he's including us to the power. We know he's talking to the power, but who is the us? The word and the spirit and the power as one, called us. Okay? And he said, let us make man in our image and in our likeness. Look at our. Who is our? Our is us. The power, the word, and the spirit of our image, which is a spirit. We're going to make them, and we're going to make them after our likeness of who we are. Who is we? The word, the spirit, and the power. Okay? So he's saying, let us make man in our image and in our likeness. Watch this here. and let them, that right there, set the pace in why the world is in the position that they are in with Yah, having to have perilous times, tribulation, the judgment of the Most High on the earth. Principality in high places is now in low places on the earth. Lawlessness, the wrath, the fire of Yah. All of this is right now on the earth. Okay? So here you see, he said, and let them, not him, not her, but them. Them represent male and female, meaning feminine and masculine, woman and a man. You see? And it says here, let them have dominion. The reason why you know he's not calling them out as dominion in the realm of spirit is because he gave them dominion in the things in the world. So now you see he's given them together dominion on the earth, in the earth. Dominion means in Hebrew strong 4475 strong, and it means power, ruler, authority, force, government. He gave that to them, male and female. This is what he gave them. Okay? Now, this is what he assigned them to on the what? The earth. Was it a spiritual assignment? No, it was what they are to be doing in the earth, in their flesh. Dominion. Okay? Power. And he didn't say male and male or female and female. No, them only represent female and male, male and female. And this is why the condition is in the world is in the condition that it's actually in. Will they be able to own it? No. Will they be able to teach it? No. Will they be able to preach it? No. Will they be able to minister it? No. Will they ever be able to tell the truth? No. The lie have been lived for too long, to where even the Father himself, the Creator, is not looking for you to turn around and see. Okay? So here I'm showing you how he gave them the full power and rule and authority of the earth. He never intended for it to be male. It was supposed to be male and female. Now here, listen to what he said. And let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle. See, these are things in the world, in the earth, that he's going to create, that they're going to have ruler over and have power over and have authority over. Then he said, and over all the earth. It was never meant for man to steal woman's identity, her identity. In that process, when he did that, he stole something from Yah. He stole something from Yah. Something so great they stole. You know how it says, and I think it's in Matthew's chapter 6. Let me go there. Let me just go there, make sure I see it like it says it here. In Matthew's chapter 6, it says, let's get to Matthew's chapter 6. I think it's in verse, let me get it. Verse 6. Verse 10. Matthew chapter 6 and verse 10. Listen to this. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in the earth as it is in the heaven. So the earth receive its second from what it already is in the heaven. It cannot be something on the earth that has not already been in the heavens. So when the Father created them, you all had no idea that from the kingdom, his image is feminine and masculine. Feminine and masculine. And the Father set her under feminine image, and he under his masculine image. This is how the Father had set he and her with his image. His image is a spirit that holds masculine and feminine. Masculine, feminine. And that's one of the darkest wicked on the earth. To where feminine want masculine and masculine want feminine. You know why? Because the order is already in the kingdom. It's set. And they want to erase the order that is set in the kingdom and set it on the earth one way as it is in the kingdom. So what he wanted me to really let you all know in verse 26, it told you that it was them that had dominion over the whole earth. The whole earth. So when you see these wars and you see them meeting together to argue, to fuss, to talk about silver, gold, and anything, it's always who? Masculine. Men. Why? Because they stole. They robbed. They stole the feminine identity of Yah from woman. They stole it. And they had no, I myself, they had what they were doing when they stole her fleshly purpose was to rule and have dominion, have authority like him and her. She was to have it equal. They stole it. But what they did not know, heavens, like it is in heavens, In the heaven, she is considered feminine. And when they stole her her earthly identity, they wiped away her spiritual identity. Good thing it was still in heaven. They couldn't wipe that one away. Like it is on the earth, as it is, as it was, and as it shall always be in the heaven. See, they couldn't erase that, but they stole her feminine identity when they stole woman and female and her dominion on the earth. So once we get into it, you're gonna feel her somewhat. You're gonna feel her feminine image. It's gonna almost connect you to Yah. That's what it's gonna. I'm speaking of those who know spirit and truth, who has the light in their hand, meaning the Holy Spirit in them. You're gonna hear him connecting himself to feminine. And you're going to hear how great a how great a sin that man has committed by stealing her feminine identity first and foremost. Her feminine identity was what she was before she became the earthly purpose, meaning her male and female. Let's get to it. Okay. When Yah created woman, this is a spirit. It has no breath. It's a balloon. We're using it as a spirit. It has no breath. If my fist is my hand wrapped around, it's a fist. My fist, that's my flesh. What Yah did is, I don't want to put the balloon in my mouth to blow it into here, but he blew this spirit into my flesh. Now, inside of my flesh is an image like the spirit of Yah. A light is now in my flesh. He blew this spirit into my flesh. What's also in here? The breath. The breath. The breath. You know what came with the breath? Truth. Truth came with the breath. And what was added to this spirit to make her woman, female, feminine, the feminine energy, not energy, the feminine image of Yah. It's in here. That's his image. It came with the spirit. This is the spirit. It is his image of a feminine. And it holds the breath. And the breath holds truth. All in the spirit. You see? So if I let this go and the breath, it comes out, it's now no breath. It gone back to the Father. But the spirit is non-existent. There go the spirit. It lives, eternal. But the flesh, totally vanished into the dirt, into the ground. The earth in which it come from. But what's still left? Yah has the breath that he blown, his truth, his feminine image, and all that lies here is a spirit sleep, waiting for that day to get up for eternal. Okay? As we talk, you're going to learn that one of the greatest things that has taken place on the face of the earth, women, is that your feminine image of Yah was taken from you. You were robbed of the purpose that Yah birthed in you as feminine image of Yah. And how did they steal it? Through your natural female, her, woman, flesh. They stole your spiritual identity when they stole your earthly, fleshly identity in Genesis. They found a way quick and easy. Quick and easy. See, a lot of people didn't understand when he said, oh, it is not good that man should be alone. What I believe is it wasn't that it was not good that man shall be alone, because no one put man in the garden alone, but he that created male and female. So he is not saying it is not good that man be alone. He couldn't be saying that because he the one put him in the garden alone. You see what a lie? You see how the lie hangs? He put him in there. Everything he did when he used his power, his word, what did he do? It is good. It is good. Then he put Adam into the garden. Everything was good until he put him into the garden. And then all of a sudden, it is not good that man shall be alone. When he never said man was alone. In the beginning, he had said male and female. So therefore, if man is alone, you put him in there alone. So why did it turn not good? Sin hadn't even hit the earth. So it shouldn't have been not good. It should not even been one word that says not good, because wicked and evil and darkness had not hit. But guess what? It did. And when man, Adam, sinned, that was the key to turn it on woman. This is where they began to steal her identity. Because I couldn't get with woman when he said not to touch. He didn't say that to Adam. So who told her that? The one who already had taken the good and evil, which was Adam. He fed the lie to Eve that the father said not to touch, and the father did not tell Adam that. So how did that lie get into her? It had to come from him, because the order was given to him. He lied to her that he said not to touch nor to eat. You see what I'm saying? See, they wouldn't have never thought that y'all would have a ram in the bush, still in the bush, stuck in the bush until a time as this. See, and this is what I'm doing. I'm bringing light in the midst of all that darkness that you all been taught all these years. And being taught that all these years, that don't mean you don't change because I'm speaking. That's not what Yah is doing. Yah is allowing his servant to speak truth, as it is in each and every last one of us, as a light in the midst of darkness. go back and see Eve said he said not to touch. Then you go back to Adam and hear if you hear Yah say not to touch. So how did Eve lie before she took of what they said she took of? It wasn't that she was lying. She was basing it on the liar, which was Adam from the beginning. That's why it wasn't good that he be not alone, but that he be in the garden. I don't think it was no such thing as it is not good that he should be alone, because how could the creator who created him alone now say everything is good, but now it's not good? Come on. As if it wasn't going to be good no way if they going to take the tree of good and evil. Y'all didn't say that. That's man added on to cover man because he had taken the tree of good and evil before woman hit the scene. That's why he's staying right there and wait till she get her turn. If it were to be like that, that's what they did. And they blamed her as being deceived when it was really him from the beginning. Okay, so the Father wants me to show you how his image that he made male and female, and that you have to understand masculine and feminine plays a role in male and female. It's feminine and masculine. Say, for instance, people now today say, no, okay, I was born as a male, but I feel like a female, and I feel my insides is a female, and I got things that might look like them to the female or whatever. You can be whatever you want to be on this earth, because sin has hit. It ain't turned away. It'll have you thinking you are a dog. That's how people treat animals now. It'll have you thinking you all kind of things. And that's how darkness has overshadowed the earth. Now, heavens has already got you wrote up and wrote in, whether you're masculine or feminine image of Yah. He's not going to let you be a feminine image of who he is if he giving you the masculine image of who he is. You ain't getting away with it, because it is written in the heavens as it is on the earth. Earth is identical to the way that it is in the heavens. So you can get down here and be whatever you want. Heaven's already got you wrote in and wrote out. Okay? So you didn't come down here being what you say that you are. And that shows you the level of deception that people are willing to okay and live by, because this is how bad it is on the earth. They even got little bitty kids getting their self changed over from male to female to male. You see? So it's all because heaven had it already wrote in and wrote out. He has feminine and he has masculine, and each entity carries or plays a role. There's a purpose for feminine and there's a purpose for masculine. That's something man on earth can't steal. Yeah, you can get out here and steal the flesh of your body and turn it one way or the other. You can get out around here and pretend you're a lesbian, or you gay or whatever. You can do whatever you want. Heaven's already got it checked in and checked out. You see? So whether you say you got feelings for this or you feel this way, it don't matter. So here in Genesis chapter 1 verse 27 says, so Yah created man in his own image. He in the image of Yah, in the image of Yah. What is the image of Yah? He is a spirit like unto a light, a spirit like unto a light, which is feminine and masculine. And then he said, male and female created them. That's who he gave the earth dominion to. But look how man stole her identity as a feminine identity on the earth to rule, and what else? To rule and have power, authority, government, and force in the realm on this earth as Adam. Equal. That's what the whole idea was from the rib and the side, meant to tell you all they were to be equal, side by side. That's how they flipped it and made it her did something so they could steal her feminine identity. Now I'm going to show you where they stole it so deep. I just explained to you, heaven's got them locked in as feminine and masculine. So if they can get down here and say, I feel like a boy, I feel like a girl, it don't matter. Heaven's got you locked in and locked out. Okay? So what they did is they stole her feminine and made it the less of the less of the less of the less, to where when you go up in here, you begin to hear the feminine part of the Most High Yah. You begin to hear the feminine part of the Most High Yah, and then you can connect to the feminine of woman, of female, of girl, of daughter. You begin to connect back to your spiritual created purpose as a spirit, feminine. You begin to connect back with it. Let's go. So here in Genesis chapter 1, verse 27, he called them, male and female. He created them. Okay. And Yah blessed them, and he told them to be fruitful and have ruler, power, authority, government, force, and realm together side by side. So that's why you don't see that. You never seen it. You won't get it out of the history. You won't get it anywhere where the order was put for them to work side by side. Men have always brought her to the low of the low degree because they thought that they got away with stealing her identity. And the Father want me to let you know, you ain't got away with nothing. That too is going to be on your list. Okay? So all of this stuff that they're doing down here right today, let them do what they want. If they want to be transgender, they want to be a male, and they want to be a female. They want to be whatever they want it to be, and they have already ruined the feminine image of Yah for woman already. They ruined it. They took it out of the order that heaven had it wrote in and made it an order of the flesh of man. That she's just, it's good for the bed, cooking and cleaning. That's not dominion. That's not ruler. That's not power. That's not government. That's not force. That's not a realm. And this is why they didn't understand. This is why they got away with when he says, train up your child in the way that they should go. They never knew that their realm was masculine, and the masculine was holding the sperms, which was all seeds on the face of the earth. That's why they were created first, because they were carrying the whole world in their loins. You see? And then they birthed them and left them for woman, while they out on the highways and byways dropping seeds everywhere they saw fit, because they had stolen her identity from the kingdom as a feminine, not understanding what the feminine is. So we're going to go there so you can get a grip of what you stole and how you You tamper with the creation of the Most High Yah, and this is why they are doing what they're doing today. Okay, so let's go to Genesis chapter 3 and verse 11. In Genesis chapter 3 and verse 11, it reads, in Genesis chapter 3 and verse 11 and 12, he said, who told thee that thou was naked, and thou eat it naked? Hast thou eaten the tree whereof I command thee that thou should not eat? Now, the Father wanted me to go back into that because he wants to show you how when he came after Adam, it wasn't that he was excluding Eve, it was what he knew that he had said to the only one that was there in the garden at that time. Why should he go after her? He ain't said it to her. He had every right to go after him because he knows that, hey, because y'all then lied on the Father, because y'all done took this book and smeared it up and down and all around, and the Roman Catholic and the Jesuits and these Europeans then got y'all thinking that it's this way, this way, this way, all because you believed it, you lived it, you teached it, you preached it, you walk on it, you talk on it, you live on it. That's on you. That's on you. That's why you still lost with the cause and without. Because watch this. He wants you to know that the reason why he was checking Adam is because Eve was not present when he set the one commandment and the one law. Only one could have broke that commandment, and that law was the one that it was given to. If I was not born, okay, and the Father gave my son a law, why would he come after me from breaking it? Why would he be calling me? He's going straight to the horse's mouth in which he had given it to. He said he was speaking to Adam because he did not owe that liability to Eve. It wasn't given to her. The voice of the Most High gave it directly to him. When everything was perfect and excellent and good, I gave this to you. So when you disobeyed it, I came looking for the one that I gave it to. And just because they smeared it and made you think that it was Eve, the Father said, that's on you. You believed it was Eve, that's on you. I showed you all, every last one of you all, right here in Genesis 3, who I gave the charge to and who really broke the charge. That's why he never owned the charge. He never admit that, yes, I disobeyed you. I disrespect you. I didn't follow what you told me. He never owned it. He blamed the Father because you gave her to me, and because she did give it to me, I did eat. What about what I told you not to do? He never owned it, but he owned that he was naked. That was a sign to let you know the sickness in man is so wrapped up to nakedness. They like to invade little girls, little boys, other men, and women in the way that's totally disrespectful. That's why nakedness overshadow them in lust, abomination, pedophiles, because everything wicked and evil was what he could understand was not that I disobeyed the commandment, I disobeyed the one commandment, I disobeyed the one law, and I didn't care about the consequences. Yes, I did it. He didn't own none of that, but he owned the fact that his body was naked. You don't see nothing wrong with that. That's what you see today. Men didn't gotten away with so much wickedness that fall under sexual lust and evil and abomination that's still connected to the nakedness of the body in which Adam was able to connect with. He couldn't connect with, I broke the commandment, I broke the law, I disobeyed you, even after you told me the consequence. He couldn't connect to that, but he could connect to what was naked, which was his flesh. And he wants me to let you know the reason why he's coming after Adam is because Adam was the one who took up the tree of good and evil. They stole the woman's natural purpose on the earth because they robbed her from her spiritual purpose as an image of Yah that is feminine. And they had no idea what they was messing with. So I'm going to show you. They have no idea what that feminine represented in that female, that woman. Adam was happy when he says, flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone. He was happy to say that. But what he did not know, she had something greater than flesh and bone, because there's nothing good in flesh and nothing good in your bone. Okay? But what was good, what was the spirit that was in you, that holds the image of Yah, the breath of Yah, the truth in you, masculine and feminine. That's Yah's image. So when you get to, let's go to verse 15. In Genesis chapter 3 and verse 15. In Genesis chapter 3 and verse 15, it reads, and I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. What the Father is showing you, the power of feminine from the standpoint of the spirit. That's the identity man stole. Yah gave her in the spirit feminine. Many of you all have no idea what that represents on the throne. You see? Feminine. He's showing you here that the example of Genesis 3 and 15, I will put enmity, which is hate, between serpent seed and the woman seed. The woman seed represent the spiritual ones that comes down, which is the spiritual ones that come down as the spiritual seeds. He called them woman. And I say that they put the word woman, but I would say the feminine seed. Because in the kingdom, it was his feminine energy that represent female and woman, as the world would call her. So when he said here in verse 15, he said, and I will put enmity between thy seed, serpent, and my spiritual seeds. That's why he's not talking about a female and woman. He's talking about his feminine spirit, or the spiritual seeds, y'all. He calls them woman, which is, the world would say woman, but he said feminine. They're coming out of the line of that feminine realm, image of who I am. And then he used the word what? Her. And her seed. He's calling his spiritual seeds that's coming down here to walk in the spirit. He's calling them feminine. He's calling them from his feminine image. Y'all ain't heard nothing yet. Let's go to Revelation chapter 12. Let's go to Revelation chapter 12. In Revelation chapter 12 and verse 1 through 4, let's hear the cost. Let's hear it. So in Revelation chapter 12 and verse 1, it says, and there appeared a great wonder in the heaven, a woman clothed with the sun. Come on now. A woman. That's that feminine image of Yah. What is Yah built up with? The word, the power, and the spirit. This is him. The spirit. That's that same one he sent down as Christ. Christ was the three that he sent down to work with who? Yeshua, the Son of Man. Okay, so here, this woman she's clothed with the sun. You got to know that's a heavenly thing now. That's strictly spirit. You couldn't even make this match the flesh of a woman. But if you think about how he created the flesh of a woman with the spiritual feminine image, it makes you feel special. It makes you wake up to the light and realize if he had that much connected to his feminine part, to where he made me feminine in the spirit, and as a feminine in the spirit, I am a female and a male in which he created. This is why he couldn't just give all authority and power to man, because it don't make up him. You can't make up Yah with just masculine. He's not just masculine. How dare you? He's feminine. So in the process of them stealing woman and female identity, they also ripped Yah creation out of the order. And this is why women don't really get what they need to get. Is because they're falling behind the same one that Yah couldn't trust with one commandment and one law. He couldn't even trust him with one commandment nor one law. He couldn't even trust him with one commandment and one law. And you women down here are trusting these men with your beginning to your end. This is so important. Why he says, seek ye the kingdom first. Because if you would have seeked the Father, he would have given it to you. Didn't he tell that to Cain? He said you would have had the same thing that Abel, but what? No, you come down here with a different seed, as a different seed. But that's all it takes to be like unto the Father. So listen to this. In Revelation chapter 12 and verse 1, and there appeared in great wonders in heaven a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet. That's power, y'all. That's full control and power. This is in the spirit realm. Listen to what he says. And upon her head was 12 crown. Upon her head a crown of 12 stars. Do y'all know who that is? That is the spiritual seed of the woman. That is the spiritual seed of the woman. You know how I've been teaching you all about Jacob's remnant of Jacob is the spiritual seed. It's the spiritual remnant. It's the spiritual seed of Jacob. And it's not the whole house of Israel and all of Jacob. It's the spiritual seed. When you think of 144,000 out of how many? Let's say in America, we're 20 million. Just imagine what 144,000 is. That's not very many at all, y'all. And I don't know where y'all lost that. See, it's just like no connection to nothing. Of people that don't have no connection, none whatsoever. So just notice in Revelation chapter 12, how in verse 1, this woman that's clothed with the sun. Okay, she had the crown on her head with the 12 stars, and then her feet, the sun and the moon was under her feet. That's power. That's showing you she was fully in control. That is the Ruach of the Father. That's who that is. His Holy Spirit. That he's giving you a example of his spirit, clothed with the sun, and her feet is the moon is under her feet. She stands on the moon, and then the 12 the crown with 12 stars represent the spiritual seed, y'all. I keep telling y'all that. That's who's going to the Mount Zion. That's the small remnant. They are a spiritual seed. Remember Revelation 3 and verse 15? The woman seed. You see? To the point where he had to put hate between them to keep them distance. The woman seed. And I keep telling y'all, it's not like me as a female or a woman. It is the feminine. The Ruach of Yah is feminine. Did you ever dawn on you where it talks about the house of house of Israel is the bride? The house of Israel as a woman? The house of Israel as a how would I say, a daughter? Those are all feminine entities. Why? He's speaking of those who have the spiritual seed, which is the Ruach HaKodesh. They are the spiritual seed that come down here. That's why he's calling them daughter. That's why he's calling them bride. That's why he's calling them woman. They come from the spiritual image of Yah, which to line up with the image was what? What did he give us as his image? His spirit. You see, his image is a spirit. His Ruach HaKodesh that carries the three, which is us, our image, the power, the word, and the spirit. So when they took her identity that heavens had wrote out for her, because he sealed her with the feminine image of who he is. So when they stole your natural female and woman purpose that matches the identity of a feminine, you lost your way. And you became what they created you to be. Even to this very day, they would never, ever, ever own up to it, but heavens. You got it wrote in and wrote out next to your works, whether that work was evil or whether that work was good. And that was an evil move on behalf of the masculine men and males on this earth. They stole her spiritual identity. They wiped it from the earth, and they stole her natural ruler, power, domain, and authority. Okay, so here he says in verse 2, we still in Revelation chapter 12 and verse 2, she being with child cried in travail in birth and pain to be delivered, because she had to deliver the spiritual seed to a wicked world. Mm-mm-mm. This she is clothed with the sun, because that's the Ruach HaKodesh, and she is in travail and in pain to deliver her seeds down to this wicked earth. And then it says in verse 3, and there appeared another wonder in heaven. So he's giving you the two shots of what took place that got the spiritual seeds down here, and it's got the serpent seeds down here. Remember in Genesis chapter 3, it says, I will put enmity between her seed and your seed. See, it was always the spiritual seed he was sending down when he said her seed. You see, the woman seed. Okay, and his seed, now you hear it. Here it is in Revelation 3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven. See, it started in the beginning, y'all. So that's why I said they stole instant her identity. But woman can claim her identity once she understands this message that I'm speaking to her. Now listen to what it says. And there appeared another wonder in heavens, and behold, a great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his head. See, he had his angels. Those were the seeds that the Father said he was going to have. And the one for the woman was Revelation 1 and 2. The woman seeds. And now 3 and 4 speaks of the serpent seed. That matches Genesis 3 and 15, people. And when I say women need to can claim it, I'm speaking the spiritual. Because they stole it, your identity in the flesh. You will never gain that rule, that power, that authority, that government, that force that y'all giving you. You won't be able to claim that. They robbed you from that. You see, you wouldn't even know how to claim it no way. But the spiritual feminine, when I'm speaking of him speaking of the feminine, it should give you joy to know how special you were to Yah, to allow you to be created out of that feminine realm of his image. Okay, and then in verse 4 it says, and his tail drew a third part of the stars of heaven and cast them onto the earth, and the dragon stood before the woman, which were ready to deliver for to devour her children as soon as they were born. That's what happened to Abel. See, y'all got to go back to Genesis and see the division he put there between the two. And this is the example. You guys go to Revelation. I'm not go to Revelation. Go to Genesis chapter 3 and 15, and then go to Revelation chapter 12, verse 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's a connection. They're a oneness. It's giving you the example of why Genesis 3 and 15 exist. See, this is why they exist. And this thing about woman in Genesis, I think it was 16, when he said, and to the woman, he said. Now, to this woman, he's saying this here is the flesh. Why? Because that's what the Roman Catholic, the Jesuits, and the Europeans who put in this book, that the woman require a great heavy punishment. Why? She was the only one got cursed. Adam didn't get cursed. Satan didn't get cursed. But the woman got so cursed to the curse, to the curse, to the curse. Why? Because they were stealing her identity, and they had to bring her to the low of the low. And that's why women weren't able to vote. They weren't able to go in and make choices. They weren't even able to know anything about their bodies. They wouldn't allow them to do anything but lay down, do what they want to them, have the babies, leave the babies there. Women clean up and take care of home while they out here just having themselves a wham damn doodle time today, as they were yesterday. That's what I see. A wham damn doodle time. And that's what they do. And that's why the world is in the position that it is in. Now, this is why you know what I'm saying is true. All you have to do is think of a sperm. Why did he give them a man so many? It's because they are holding the whole world in their womb. And they're too ignorant to realize even woman come from your sperm. And they have left their children without training them up in the way that they should go. Why should woman have that heavy duty? What will be the purpose for you as man to be a king, leader, and ruler? What are you ruling? What are you being the king of? It was first and foremost of your own household. You were to set it up to where you would train them up in the way. And it's only one way. That is the way. And that's the way of righteous. Training them up to your way, this way, that wasn't the way. It was the way of righteous. So let us go now to Proverbs 7 and verse 4. In Proverbs 7 and verse 4, it reads, in Proverbs 7 and verse 4, it reads, Proverbs 7 and verse 4, say unto wisdom, thou art my sister, and call understanding thy kinswoman. You see that, y'all? Proverbs 7 and verse 4. Solomon is breaking it down, y'all. Say unto wisdom, thou art my sister. See that? You see that feminine is what wisdom fall under? And watch this here. And understanding, thou art my kinswoman. Feminine. Because wisdom, knowledge, and understanding comes from the same realm that woman came from, which is the image of Yah, which is feminine. You get it? So you see why your identity was stolen from you. And you think Jacob's stole Esau. You think these fake oohs done stole Judah. You think David stole another man's wife. Y'all, let me tell you, all through it, they steal it. But the greatest thing that they had taken away was what Yah made in the beginning, in Genesis 1. Male and female, masculine and feminine, to have dominion, ruler, power, authority, government, force, and realm on this earth and of this earth. And they took it and stole her identity, wiped it away, claimed that she was the one, and never returned her back, her righteous, spiritual, heaven-bound purpose. Okay? So here, when you go to Proverbs 7, and you see in verse 4, say unto wisdom, thou art my sister. There go that feminine. Not thou, and call understanding thy kinswoman. That's just letting you know, understanding, knowledge, and wisdom comes from the image of Yah, which is the spiritual image that lines up with the Ruach HaKodesh. It's feminine. Okay, so the next one is Proverbs 8. In Proverbs 8 and verse 1 through 3. Do it not wisdom cry, and understanding put forth her voice? Do not wisdom cry, and understanding put forth her voice? Verse 2, she standeth in the top of the hill, high places, by the way, in the place of the path. So she stands in the way of the path. You know, the narrow gate? That's the way. She standeth there, you guys, by the way, in the place of the paths, which is the way to go. She cried at the gates, at the entry of the city, and at the coming in at the door. Praise the mighty Yah. Verse 4, until you, O men, I call, and my voice is to the sons of man. Until you men, O men, I call, and my voice is to the sons of man. O ye simple, understanding, wisdom, and ye fools, be ye of an understanding heart. See how he checking them right after he described and he told them about the feminine entity of wisdom, understanding, which is the Holy Spirit, which is she. You see? Just look at it. And that's Proverbs 8, verse 1 and 13. Now, let's go to Proverbs 3. Proverbs 3. Let's go there. I want to show y'all something. Proverbs 3. In the book of Proverbs, chapter 3. Listen to this. Listen to this. Verse 13. Let's start there. It says, happy is the man that findeth wisdom, and the man that get understanding. You all, the understanding is the Most High Yah. He's the true teacher. He got all understanding. That's the one that's going to teach you all things. That's understanding. But notice something about wisdom and understanding and knowledge. It's coming from the standpoint of Yah, which is the feminine. Watch this. Verse 14. For the merchant of it is better than the merchant of silver, and the gain thereof than fine gold. Who is he talking about? Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. It's greater than merchant, better than merchant of silver and gain, and the gain thereof of fine gold. He's letting you know your little crap you got don't mean nothing if you don't have that spiritual wisdom, that spiritual knowledge, and that spiritual understanding. All your silver and gold and what you got don't mean a rat's behind. I try to tell y'all, but it don't make no difference. They didn't listen to Noah back in that day. They ain't gonna listen to me either because they haven't listened to the Father. Okay? Now watch this, y'all. Just watch this. Verse 15. Here we go. Verse 15. She is more precious than rubies, and all the things thou canst desire are not to be compared to her. Oh, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, which is the Father's Spirit. It is his Ruach HaKodesh. Listen to what he's saying. Verse 14. For the merchant of it is better than the merchant of silver, and the gain thereof than fine gold. He's talking about wisdom and knowledge, y'all. And then he said in 15, she is more precious than rubies, and all the things that cannot desire are not to be compared to her. You remember that that woman in Genesis 3 and 15 who had them spiritual seeds? Yeah, right. That's that feminine image of Yah. How he's got woman checked in under that image. Feminine. Okay? So listen to what he said in 16. The length of the days is in her right hand, and in her left riches and honor. You gonna tell me that ain't the Father? Verse 17. Her ways are ways of pleasantness, and all her path are peace. That's Father. That's the Father, y'all. That's the Father. But he calling himself or her. He's letting you know what part of his image these all come out of. Is it him? Yes. But it comes from among his feminine image of who he is. Verse 18, she is a tree of life, which is breath. She is a tree of breath to them that lay a hold of her. And happy is everyone that retaineth her. Retaining what? The breath of life. The breath. That's what I mean. The breath. This is what y'all did not understand and still wouldn't understand even to this very day. And it ain't the day that y'all said everybody gonna understand or everybody gonna get understanding, everybody gonna see the light. No, this is the opposite. People are not gonna understand. People are not gonna see the light. And it's okay in the eyes of the kingdom, which is the Father. Okay, verse 19, and Yah by wisdom have founded the earth, and by understanding have established the heaven. See that? He's sitting here telling you this is him. This feminine image of wisdom, the feminine image of understanding, the feminine image of knowledge. He's letting you know it's me, y'all. And man think they done stole her and made her everything that they wanted her to have to please their pleasure of their flesh. And this why today she still don't know what part of Yah's image she reigned out of. Now watch this. When you go to Proverbs chapter 3, I want you to hold there. Go to Proverbs chapter 3. Stay there. That's where we at anyway. It says in verse 15, she is more precious. She is more precious. She's more precious than rubies. And all the things thou cannot desire are not to be compared to her. All these time I've been on here, I was explaining to you all Proverbs 31 is not speaking of a feminine, of a male and female as a girl, a mother, a sister. No, it's speaking of the Holy Spirit. Letting the Son know, detach yourself to the Holy Spirit and not to those things which does not represent the Holy Spirit. Now watch this. Let's go right there to Proverbs 31. You're going to see something. Proverbs 31. Now, with the people connected to, just imagine you in Proverbs chapter 3. Now you finna bump off of Proverbs 31. That Proverbs 31 is the last Proverbs, in the book of Proverbs, in the chapter of Proverbs, Proverbs 31. Now you're going to hear what Proverbs 3, chapter 3 and verse 15 says. She is more precious than rubies, and all the things thou cannot desire are not to be compared unto her. Now, let's go to Proverbs 31 and verse 10. Verse 10. Who can find a virtuous woman? And the question mark is there. You know why? you don't have no answer. For her price is far above rubies. The virtuous woman is the Ruach HaKodesh. That's what the virtuous woman is. The spirit of the Most High Yah. And they got a question mark. Double daring you, triple daring you to answer it. And these women run around here detaching themselves. Me, myself, give or take, I'm in there. A lot of things that it was talking about in 31, I'm in there. But I ain't nowhere near it. And I've taught y'all over and over, this is a spiritual woman. This is not a female nor a woman in the flesh. This is the Ruach HaKodesh speaking of itself, either in the seed or out of the seed. But I can see it saying out of the seed because it says here in verse 10, Proverbs 31 and verse 10, who can find a virtuous woman? For her, then it asks you a question, her price is far above rubies. You go back to Proverbs 3 and hear what Solomon said. She is more precious than rubies. And all the things thou canst desire are not to be compared unto her. Who is her? Wisdom and understanding. You see how that's the same thing they did with put on the whole armor. See, all of these things don't mean your flesh, people. Y'all been taught your flesh has this power to do all these things that you're studying to. No, your flesh don't. Your flesh ain't got sense enough to even bring these words into life. Live. You still sit with the words in dead moments because it's only giving you enough for your flesh. And if you study it, the Ruach in you will teach you all things. But you don't want the Ruach because you think you know it all. Okay, so I just wanted to share Proverbs, and y'all should highlight that. You should put that in your note. So when somebody get to talking about Proverbs 31, we the women, we supposed to be a Proverbs 31, you can show them, baby, they ain't nowhere talking about you. They talking about the feminine spirit of Yah and not you. The one that holds wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Because that is a her. That is a she. That is a woman. Okay? So now we're going to Revelation chapter 12. And in Revelation chapter 12, it did something. It really Revelation chapter 12, let's just go there. In Revelation chapter 12 and verse 1, and it reads, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun. Oh, we covered that, didn't we? Yes, we did. Okay, so we did cover Revelation. So we did cover that. It's Isaiah 66 and verse 6. Isaiah 66, and let's start with verse 6. Isaiah 66, Isaiah 66, verse 6 through 12. Okay? And it reads, a voice of noise from the city, a voice from the temple, a voice, I don't know if that's mine. Yeah, a voice from the temple, a voice of Yah that renders recompense to his enemy. Before she travailed, she brought forth. Before her pain came, she was delivered of a man child. Who has heard such a thing? Who has seen such a thing? When they get to asking you the questions, it's because it knows that you got a lying mouth and you think you got the answer. But there's no answer to these. because the answer rests in the spirit realm. Okay. So it says, shall the earth be made to bring forth in one day? How are you switching? Verse 7, before she travail, she bring forth. Before she travail. So before the labor pain, she already bring it forth. Before her pain came, she was delivered of a man child. You see, it's showing you that the kingdom had already orchestrated all of this. Before anything took place on the earth, heavens has already mastered it. And then it turned around and said, who has heard such a thing? Who has seen such a thing? Shall the earth be made to bring forth in one day? Okay. Or shall a nation be born at once? Just instant. For as soon as Zion travailed, she brought forth her children. She brought forth her children. You all, heavens has everything as it is on the earth, according to the way that it is in the heaven. Men have stolen the Father's identity to the utmost. I mean, like to the utmost, to where they have no idea that they took the feminine image of Yah and smeared it off the face of the earth according to the way he had it in the heaven. Women did not ever gain that power, that ruler, and that authority, and that government, and that force that heaven had assigned her as a feminine. But when Yah stepped into identifying the feminine, women should be able to identify, their own self through the spiritual image of the Father. He brings it through his ruach, his power, his authority. He tells you wisdom, knowledge, understanding is this, like a woman that's clothed in sun, with the sun, with the moon under her feet. He's speaking of the Holy Spirit, the feminine image of who he is, that they had stolen. So when you think back at all these years and all these things that they have done throughout time to rob the will of the Father, the way the heavens had orchestrated, they really think they done something. But guess what? They really didn't do anything but assign themselves to the lake of fire, because that's where they was assigned to from the beginning. And they just walked straight in, because a lot of these things that y'all still struggle with, trying to understand that, trying to make sense of things that is today, and you can't. And even though they try to force you to understand it still today in the way that they have precepted and line and little here and a little there, to just to get you all to still yet continue to believe the lie. That's why they so hateful toward women, because they want you to get back into that same order in which it was switched to, which was lied about. But when you think of Mount Zion being a her, when you think of where they say in Isaiah that there's going to be 7 women to 1 man, they had no idea who this man is. It is the Father himself. It is him in the midst of Mount Zion. And they think it's 7 women to them, flesh. Why would he give you 7 women when you've been whoring around since you've been on the earth? Then get you to the holy place and let you have more whoring around? Look how they wrote him out. See how they did him? They don't have no respect of the Most High, to where they'd have put him that low, to where they stand low. Okay, let me hit this here. Psalms 46 and verse 5. Psalms 46 and verse 5. Yah is in the midst of her. Woo! Didn't I just tell y'all that? Watch this here. She shall not be moved. Yah shall help her, and that right early. And this is talking about how Yah is going to exalt what he placing in the midst of Mount Zion. And he's calling it a herd that's going to be in the midst. I told y'all, Yah is going to be in the midst of Mount Zion. So what did it look like he's going to allow men to have more women than each one of them probably didn't had 50 and more women, but he gonna let you have more women when you get up there. See how low they bring him? They bring him that low. That's because they that low. So, all right, Sister Deborah, I hope you got something out of it. And I hope you enjoy what you have heard. And I want you to understand that they're in trouble, big time, for judgment, because they never brought woman back to her position that they stole. It should have been on a mountaintop. They should have been preaching it and teaching it. And even the women themselves, the silly women, laden with sin. You see what I'm saying? Running behind men of Judah. And the identity wasn't a race. It wasn't the house of Israel and the tribe of Judah only. It was all men have taken a woman dominion from her when it was signed to her from the kingdom. So Sister Deborah, hope you got something out of it. And I will be back. Shalom and shalom.